Hey, how's it going? David Taub here. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Today we're going to talk about 5 must-have needed items for the beginner guitar player in addition to your guitars. You're going to need a few other things to make your guitar journey a little bit smoother and also the most efficient. And these things are true whether you're playing acoustic guitar or electric guitar. The same things apply. And by the way, all the things on this list of 5 are very inexpensive, so they're not going to break the bank. First thing you're going to need in addition to your guitar is some type of electronic tuner. You're going to need to keep your guitar in tune. And eventually you're going to learn to tune by ear. And you'll be able to tune your guitars, but that takes a little bit of time and you got to get some playing under your belt before that can happen. So at first, to make it the easiest, get yourself a tuner. Now there's a lot of different kinds and styles and types of tuners. You don't need anything fancy. Between $10 and $15, they make what's real popular now is the clip-on ones that clip onto your headstocks. You can get the kind that's more of a box that you either put on your leg if you're sitting, or you can even plug them into your guitars. You can get the foot stomp model that looks like a pedal if you're more into the electric guitar and you're playing plugging in. But whatever it is, you gotta have your guitar in tune. If your guitar is not in tune, and it's gonna come out of tune on its own from playing or from the age of the strings, or from maybe your, when you put it down on something, the tuning pegs hit something and it comes out of tune. You knock it into something, bam, you knock it out of tune. So you're going to want to tune it often. Playing guitars out of tune, your chords just aren't going to sound right. It's going to sound overall not very motivating or empowering. And hey, if you got a second, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep the content coming, as well as then you'll be notified when we have new lessons posted. Leave a comment below. Let us know how you like this lesson. Let us know what lessons you'd like to see in coming videos. And if you like the video, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for your support. The second thing you're going to need is some guitar picks, right? Unless you're starting off playing strict finger style, you're going to need a pick. And there's a lot of different picks out there on the market as far as the thickness, the type, the size, right? But the biggest thing, if you're a beginner, you want to pick that is a no-slip pick. What I mean by that is a lot of time beginner players, you'll find the pick slips in your hand as you're strumming and as you're playing, and that's a big hassle, or you're dropping it a lot. But coming loose in the hand is a problem, right? But they make tons of different styles of picks on the market today to alleviate problem, because they have grips on them, or raised letters, or holes in them, or ridges. And you can see by these pictures, you want to get that type of pick. And if you're playing with one right now and it's slipping in your hand and you use one of these, the difference, it's like life-changing. Well, not really life-changing, but it's kind of a big deal because you'll no longer have that problem. And the other thing is you have to keep in mind is anything that touches the strings when you're playing is going to affect the sound of the guitar, whether it's acoustic or electric. And picks that are different, they make in different thicknesses, from very thin to very, very thick. And each increment, it changes the tone of the guitar a little bit, and you need to be aware of this. I mean, just play with your fingers and you'll hear how the fingers kind of deaden the sound from the strings versus with a pick. Some picks, very thin, make the guitar a little brighter. Some, as you go up in thickness, a little bit duller. So you want to find that balance, and you want to try out lots of different no-slip picks. Maybe start with a medium in the beginning, middle of the road, but try some thinner ones, try some thicker ones, and find that balance between what's comfortable in your hand, but also what sounds best to your ears. And if you want a little extra help, maybe with your chord changing, fret hand technique, I could really help you with that. Click on the link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send you my extended play video lesson. It's not on YouTube, it's killer, and it's all about fret hand technique and good chord changing skills. I give you my best tips. It's packed with exercises. It's a killer lesson. I'll pair it with a ebook also, which has more chord charts in it, more lessons. It's a fabulous 1-2 combination. It'll really help you along with your guitar journey, and I'll send them both to you for free. Just click on that link below. The third thing that I recommend that I think is really important is a means for you to keep your guitar out, right? You don't want to pack it up after every time you play it and stick it in the closet or put it under your bed, back in the case. It's the worst thing you could do. It needs to be out and accessible in the room you're in the most. So get yourself a guitar stand. Again, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can get, a stand for, $10 to $20. But what that's going to do is it's going to leave the guitar out where you could see it, and there's that mental connection too, right? Where you'd be like, okay, I got to practice my stuff. I got to work on, learning some chords. I got to work on my strumming, as well as, it's so important when you're practicing, especially early on, just, have those 10, 15-minute intervals throughout the day where maybe, you would be wasting time or not really doing anything. Pick up your guitar, go through your chord changes. Go through some exercises, right? Those 10 to 15 minute sessions really add up, especially early on, because you're not going to be able to play for an hour or 2 hours straight because you may not have the time, number one, but that will really be hard on the fingers. And the next day you'll wake up with your fingertips so sore you won't be able to play for a couple days. The other thing you could do is get a wall hanger for your guitar and hang it up on the wall, right? I think guitars are works of art. They're beautiful and they look beautiful in, in the home when they're hanging on the wall. And just make sure if you do that, when you get your hanger, either screw into the studs on the wall or use anchors, right? Secure it properly because you don't want the guitar falling off. Guitars look beautiful when they're hung up, and this way you could just go over and grab it, much like if it was on a stand or if it's on a wall hanger. You can grab it, 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes before your friends are coming over, you can get some, get some work done. The fourth thing I think is important for you to have is 2 extra sets of strings. Okay, and the reason for this is because a string might break, and if you haven't broken one yet, or if you're new to guitar, you will. Eventually you'll be playing and all of a sudden one will snap. You have to be prepared for that, right? You don't want to have a broken string and not be able to replace it, because then your guitar might be unplayable for several days until you can get it done. So have 2 extra sets of strings. Why 2? Because this way, if one string breaks, they all might be breaking soon. You probably want to change them all. Plus, it's nice having new strings on your guitar. They sound so fresh and new. Old strings, they get dead after a while, after playing them again, from degrading, from the sweat and the oils from our hands, and they sound kind of lifeless and dull, and they don't hold tune really well once they get old. So you're going to want to change them regularly. And it's nice to have 2 extra sets. This way you have backup. And if you don't know, strings come in different thicknesses or string gauge. On acoustic guitar, they're usually known as light strings, medium, and heavy. On electric guitar, the most common string gauges are 9s, 0.09, 10s. Right? And it's important, if you change your strings, you want to put, if you're happy with them, put the same gauge back on. And if you don't know what gauge you have, take it to a place that sells guitars where they have, someone's doing repairs or setups, and they'll tell you what gauge you have on. But that's important, because if you're playing with light gauge and you put heavy gauge or medium gauge on, it might throw the adjustments off on your guitar because it's different neck tension. Those thinner strings won't be pulling as hard, or the thicker ones will be pulling harder. So you might need the neck adjusted or the action adjusted on the guitar when you jump gauges. So know what string gauge you have and then replace with the same. And then if you want to change the gauge and try something different and hear how it sounds, know that you're probably going to have to get your guitar reset up for those string gauges. And then the last thing you want to have is a notebook. And this is important because you need a way to keep your progress, and you need a way to organize your guitar journey. You're going to probably be printing things out, right? Maybe some PDFs, some scale diagrams, chord charts, whatever. So you need a way to put them so they're in front of you. You don't want to have to go turn your computer on and then find them and then look at them while you're playing it. No, you want to have that right in front of you. Make it as easy as possible. I suggest a 3-ring binder, and then get those plastic pages that you slip the pages into. Because if you just 3-hole punch them and keep them in there, you'll find out that eventually they'll rip out, and then you'll have an unorganized book. So get those plastic pages, put all your stuff in one book. Maybe you can put your chord progressions you're working on. You could put your sheets with your chord charts. You could put your diagrams. You could put your notes, because you want to take notes. Okay, this is where I'm at in my journey. This is what I'm working on. This is the date. And you keep this journal, and this really helps you stay organized and to keep you focused with structure, because that's what you need as a beginner player. You need structure so you could stay laser focused and organized. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. These 5 things will really help you along, in addition to your guitar, make your guitar journey, more proficient, easier, smoother. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us to keep the content coming, as well as then you'll be notified when we have new lessons up. And don't forget, also click on that link in the YouTube description box below. Get my video lesson and ebook on essential chord changing and chord techniques, chord freehand techniques, right? Killer video lesson, extended play, and an ebook for free. Just click on the link below. And if you want to check out some of my original music, I recently dropped a new record with my original band Mind Cell. We're based out of San Diego, California. I think it's a slammin' record, some of the best music I've ever written, in my opinion. I'll put links to it below. It's streaming on all the platforms. Check it out. And then if you have any questions on the songs, or maybe on the gear I used, or the studio production, or the studio, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and thank you so much for your support over the years. So appreciate it. Keep up all that hard work on those guitars. Keep having fun with them. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care, rock on. I'll see you in the next lesson.